Hello everyone, I Assistant Professor Pragati Shetty from Department of Microbiology, KG Somaya College. In this online lecture, we will study about the detection of the virus growth in the cell cultures. In the last online lecture, we reached till the various types of the virus cultivation. In that, we have studied the three types of the virus cultivation, including animal inoculation, then egg inoculation, and then tissue cultures. Right, now we will see, now we have say inoculated the viruses in the one of this media. Okay, now we have to check whether the virus is really present or not, or how we can check what are the properties that we use to determine the growth of the virus. So now that can be determined using the cytopathic effects by observing the metabolic inhibition and also by heme adsorption. Now we will study this one by one. Now if we look into the cytopathic effects, okay, what are cytopathic effect? The most of the viruses which damages the cells basically, that are called as the cytopathic effects, and the most of the viruses cause morphological changes in cultured cells in which they are growing, right? Then these changes can therefore be observed for their growth, and this can be observed as microscopically, such as the change in the blood cells, okay, or any morphological change in the cells that can be observed under the microscopically under the sample of tissue in which we have the inoculated our virus. So this is the one way that we can check the cytopathic effect of the virus on the grown culture or the grown tissues. Okay, then the cytopathic effect are characteristic for a particular group of the viruses and help those viruses to determine or to detect in the presumptive identification of the viruses. Now all viruses doesn't produce the cytopathic effect, right? There are different various characteristics of the viruses for a particular one. It means each virus will have their own unique characteristic that is present only in their life cycle, and therefore these properties we can use to check or to determine whether the virus has grown or not. So for example, in the cytopathic effect we can check the viruses, okay, such as the enteroviruses, which causes the orientation of the cells. They disturb, okay, they damage the cell orientation that we can observe microscopically. So this is one example of the cytopathic effect, right? So this is the one way to determine, to detect the virus present in the grown cell cultures. Now what is the second one we can use is the metabolic inhibition. Now in the normal cell cultures, the medium will turn acidic due to the cellular metabolism, right? If the metabolism is happening, some acids will be produced, some chemicals will be consumed for the energy, then that due to that acid production, the cells or the system media will turn acidic, okay, due to the products that are obtained from the metabolic processes. Now the growth of the virus inhibit the metabolism, right? And therefore by inhibiting the metabolism processes of the host, they will infect the host, they will stop the metabolism process and they will kill the host. So this is a one way of the viral infection, right? Viral pathogenesis, and therefore there will be no acidic production or not conversion into the acidic environment, and therefore this can be made out by the color of the indicator. This presence or absence of the acid production that we can check with the help of an indicator such as the phenolic red. Alright, this is another important and very determinative way determinative way for identify the viral growth in the tissue culture. Then third way is the heme adsorption. Now what is the heme adsorption? The adsorption of the hemoglobin, the blood adsorption, right? Now when the heme agglutinating viruses such as the influenza viruses and the para-influenza viruses who has the heme agglutination inhibiting proteins on their structures. This we have studied in the previous lectures of the various types of the viruses. In that virus types we have studied in the structure of the influenza, right? And the HIV also, they have the heme agglutinating antibodies inhibition proteins, HI proteins they has in their structure. Okay, so this type of the viruses when grow in the cell culture, they adsorb the RBCs onto the surface of the cell cultures. Therefore that will result into the agglutination of the heme, that is the heme agglutination, blood agglutination will be observed, right, due to the viruses such as the heme agglutinating viruses. What they will do, they will heme agglutinate the RBCs present in the cell culture. And this is the one way to determine the growth of the virus into the cultivation medias, right? So these are some of the roots or some of the characteristics by which we can determine or we can confirm the growth of the viruses. Now along with that, we can also use some other methods to determine, such as the transformation, then interference and the immunofluorescence. Okay, what we do in the transformation, the oncogenic viruses induce the cell transformation, all right, and loss of contact inhibition, and therefore their growth will be observed as a piled up fashion, producing the micro tumors. So this because of what, the oncogenic cells, okay, they will produce the transforming cells, and due to which the growth of the tissue cultures will appears in a piled up fashion, producing a micro tumors. That we can determine, and we can say that virus is present or not. Then the immunofluorescence method we can use. As we know, in the immunofluorescence we use the UV light, right? So the cells from the tissues, cells from the virus infected cultures, we can say tissue cultures, that we take the grown cultures, okay, the tissues where in which we have inoculated our virus sample, and now we have incubated. Now for checking we have to obtain a part of a tissue from that, then we have to stain that by the fluorescent conjugated antiserum, okay, fluorescent conjugated antisera, antibody with attached with the fluorescence molecules, all right, so that if the virus is present, then viral antigen will bind to that antibodies, and if the reaction will happen, that is the antigen antibody is present, then what will happen, the fluorescence will emits. This we can observe under the UV light, and this is a very good method to determine the presence or absence of this virus. Okay, so these are some of the methods. Along with these are the methods we can detect the virus in the cell culture. Using this method we can determine the viruses are grown in the cell cultures. Now along with this we can do the assays for infectivity to determine the infectivity properties and the amount of the virus which we required to infect. Okay, then for that the quantitative assays can be present, such as the plaque assay. Okay, we know the plaque assay, and then the POC assay is present. In the plaque assay they will produce a transparent zones, okay, which will be detect as the positive growth of the viruses, and each plaque indicates an infectious virus. So depending on the number of viruses present in the tested titer or in the tested dilution, so according to that we can determine, or we can quantitate, that how many viral particle must be present on the, or must be required to infect, right? These are the some of the assays of the infectivity. Okay, so in this lecture we have studied that how we can determine or how we can detect the growth of the virus in the tissue culture. So we can detect using the cytopathic effect, the damage in the cells, right, cell changes, physical changes. Then second, we can detect using the metabolic inhibition, in which virus will inhibit the metabolic cycles and the metabolism in the host cell, that is in the grown culture of the tissues. And the third one is the heme adsorption, in that the hemagglutinin viruses, what they will do, they will agglutinate the RBCs of the cell, host cell cultures. So by that we can detect the presence or absence of the viruses in the grown tissue cultures. Along with this we have observed some other types, such as the immunofluorescence, then transformation and the interference. And then this, now we have to, if we want to determine what titer of the virus is required, that is required for infection, so we can do the assay of infection, infectivity assays, they are called as the infectivity assay. That will include the plaque assay and the POC assay. POC assay, why the name? Because that viruses will form pox on the cam, okay, that is on the media. I hope you understood this online lecture. If you have any doubt regarding this, please ask in the comment section. Thank you for watching.